What's up, all my Ewoks, tribbles, and droids? It's Anna, also known as That Star Wars Girl, and today I'm going to be doing a review of Episode 5 of Star Trek Picard and breaking down every single scene in this episode. So if you guys don't want any spoilers, don't watch this video because it's going to be packed with them. If you would like to see a little bit more of an individual scene breakdown, I did do a video that came out yesterday. This is what the thumbnail looks like for that video. If you want to go watch me do a more in-depth breakdown of one of the more controversial scenes in this episode, I would highly recommend going and checking that out. But without further ado, let's get right into this breakdown. Alright, so we start off with this establishing shot, then we cut over, and oh my god, they're pulling out eyeballs. They're harvesting Borg technology from Egypt. If you guys don't know who Egypt is, he was introduced in Voyager. He was one of the children that got rescued, and basically was like one of Seven's little protege children. And so, oh, guess what? Speaking of that, Seven shows up to save him, and he's like, no, you know, they've been doing this to me. I'm in too much pain. I'm dying. Just freaking put me out of my misery. She does. She kills them. It's this all dramatic scene. And that's the opener of the episode. Then we cut over to the bad guy or bad girl. Strong, empowered women. She's got her two women bodyguards who don't know how to shoot. It's funny. Why would you have the most useless bodyguards? But whatever. And then we have this dude who's a reptilian alien who his special skill or his special trait as the new alien lizard dude is he can smell when you're lying. I'm not kidding. That's his special skill. He can smell when you're lying. So, he's just like, yo, Bruce Maddox is here. And she's like, all right, bring him in. This is Bruce Maddox. I was like, who the fuck is this dude? This dude doesn't even look anything like Bruce Maddox. If you actually watch the, actual show where he was introduced, The Measure of a Man, you would know what Bruce Maddox looks like. But guess what? The people that write this show, they can't do their research. They can't be bothered to write an episode. What they do is they go on Netflix, they read the little, one sentence synopsis of every episode. They're like, I want that. Okay, let's pick this, and our base our entire show around it without actually watching the episode, or they would have known what Bruce Maddox actually looks like instead of getting an actor that looks absolutely nothing like him. I understand if the actor's busy and doesn't want to do this, or if the actor just is like, no, I saw what you did with, I've seen what you're doing, I'm not getting involved with this shit, and if that's the case, I respect it. If not, or whatever the reason is, you couldn't get somebody that looks like him. I mean, come on, their eye color isn't even the same. What are you doing? And so he's just like, yo, my lab got destroyed. I'm being chased by the Tal Shiar, or I'm assuming it's the Tal Shiar. I'm sorry, I'm not going to repay you. I didn't know where else to go. And she's like, oh, it's okay. It's okay, Bruce. Here, take a drink. Poisoned! And she's like, all right, fine. Fuck you, you can't pay me back. Guess what? I'm gonna go call up the Tal Shiar. I'm gonna put you on bounty. Whatever's gonna happen to you, I don't care. I just want to get paid. And then we cut over to Picard. And then Picard had, he's in his little thing. 7 and 9 shows up. She's like, what the hell are you doing, Picard? He's like, I'm on this mission to save this girl. And she's like, all right, I'll join you. That sounds like a good mission. I'll help. Next scene. We see Raffi searching the web. And guess what? She found this dude. And guess what? Oh my gosh, it's her son. Alright, so Raffi's looking for her son. No mention of him at all, but she's coming to find her son. Alright, and then this, guys, this is the scene that I did that video, that little rant video about, talking about it to all those crybabies out there that bitched and moaned and complained because, oh my god, it does make sense that a Federation officer wouldn't know who Locutus is or wouldn't remember. And oh my god, you expect everyone in the galaxy to know who 7 of 9 is? What the hell is wrong with you, Anna? You're so stupid. Smallest violin in the world for you and your lack there of common sense. But you're telling me that somebody that is in Starfleet, and I even said, even if he was, in the academy at the time, because, yeah, you have to go through Starfleet Academy to become it, to get in Starfleet, to work on a ship under a captain, which we know Rios did. All right, so he would have known who Locutus of Borg was. Everyone would know what happened, how Captain Picard got assimilated. The Captain Picard and the Enterprise were the ones that got introduced to the Borg because of Q. And because of that, heck, they even said in The Next Generation, if you watched it, that Starfleet, after that encounter, that Starfleet had been working on, weapons to fight the Borg. And then they showed up on the ship and had to go to the planet when they thought that the Borg was in Federation space. And then guess what? Captain Picard got assimilated and the entire fleet got destroyed because of him. Okay, well, not the entire fleet. Obviously, the Enterprise was still surviving and a few other ships. But a majority of the damn fleet. So you're telling me that somebody in Starfleet didn't know about that? Or forgot? Fucking forgot. Are you kidding me? Somebody left a good comment. It's like, that's like saying, the Vietnam was only a few years ago, but I forgot about it. It's like, how the fuck do you forget about this fucking universe-changing event, or quadrant-changing event in Star Trek? You don't fucking forget that. You don't forget who the major players were. Captain Jean-Luc Picard is a pretty fucking important character. Locutus is a pretty important fucking character and, person in that event. And then 7 of 9, you're telling me that he wouldn't have known who 7 of 9 was and wouldn't have known what she looked like? Everyone in the fucking Federation would have known. That's just common fucking sense. You're telling me they have little holograms and little hologram movies that they watch throughout this episode and prior episodes. You're telling me that they wouldn't have known? Everyone in Starfleet would have been briefed about the fact that Voyager made contact with them after years and years of being missing. And then, hey, guess what? They just conveniently have this chick that they rescued from the Borg and proved that if you are captured and assimilated by the Borg, that they can bring you back, or there is the possibility, and that this woman is helping them against the Borg. And guess what? They had to fight the Borg, outsmart them, and get back to the freaking Beta Quadrant. You're telling me that somebody in Starfleet wouldn't know that? And that, 7 of 9 is a pretty damn prominent person within Starfleet, within the Star Trek universe, that he wouldn't know what she looked like? Bull fucking shit. But yeah, I know I just went on another little rant. This is the stupidest fucking scene I have ever fucking watched out of all of it. And like I said, this makes the Twilight Romulan little love story with that. It makes those scenes look good with how fucking stupid this is. And I get it. This was a scene that was meant to explain to and I don't want to say normies, because it doesn't matter when you get introduced to Star Trek. It doesn't, I get it. Like, some people, they didn't watch it before and then they're jumping into it now. I don't, if you're just getting into it and, this is what got you to watch it because you like the new special effects or for whatever reason, it's okay to be a normie and, just to try something out, to be interested in it. But I'm talking about, the normie SJW people that they are trying to pander to. It's like, you're doing the scene to explain it to them because you feel like people need this to be explained to, but then you go and you pull out random characters that, a normie person would have never heard of, like the whole entire thing with E-Chip. Okay, nobody's gonna know who the fuck that is. A normie person isn't gonna know who the fuck that is without Googling it first. Everyone else that's watched Star Trek knows who the fuck that is and knew what that scene was supposed to be and how it was supposed to make the people that love Star Trek, that grew up with Star Trek, have that emotional reaction and use that nostalgia to manipulate that type of reaction out of someone. So this scene right here, not only is it fucking insulting to anyone that's a Star Trek fan, but it's also fucking insulting to anyone with a shred of common sense. You want to do a scene where you have to explain to someone, okay, why don't you do what you've been doing from the fucking beginning and use a character like Agnes to explain everything to, because Agnes is the genius. She's the second person behind Bruce Maddox on synths and all that. Okay, but she's a complete idiot with everything else, and they've been having to explain everything to her. They even do it in this episode. Why don't you use her for this scene? You use her to be the damn person that everything is explaining it to. But whatever, they don't care. So yeah, and it just gets worse. I don't even want to talk about this scene because I feel like I sound like a broken record. I've done an entire video on how ridiculous this is, so let's move on. So then we have Agnes right here, and oh look, just like what I was talking about, you can just literally go and pull it up and watch it. And so if you're telling me that they have this technology, we saw, how they used to, just watch the screens before. That was actually a pretty, significant little thing that, differentiated Star Trek from other sci-fi stuff is, even like in the originals, they have the little screen. The Next Generation, he has his little screen. Voyager, DS9, they have that. Yes, they do have holos, but it's not used in the same way. But so she's watching her little home movie of her and Bruce making eggs. And then not making eggs, making cookies. Then you find out, oh my god, they were lovers. And I'm like, alright, because, she's, alright, this might be important later, maybe, so that's why she's on this mission, because she loves Bruce, and she's gonna go after him, and she's gonna rescue Bruce, this little genius that's also an idiot. Alright. Cool. Next scene. All right, so then they show up to Free Cloud, and all of these ads start popping up. And so she's got to punch this hollow ad, and it's like, yeah, fight. And I was like, all right, did you guys like watch Alita Battle Angel, and now all of a sudden you want that? Or it honestly reminded me more, I don't know if you guys watched it, but of Wreck-It Ralph 2, when they go to the internet and there's all like the pop-up ads that show up, and you interact with them. This is what it reminded me of, and it's supposed to be a little humorous scene. Alright, and so then they're all on the computer, and Raffi's showing them, she's like, alright guys, well, this is the thing, this is the bad guy, this is the security, alright, we gotta have a plan, because you can't just walk up in there. She's got this lizard alien man that can smell when you're lying, and it's like, alright, so, why don't you just, like, put, one of those hypo spray thingies in it, because I'm sure that there is some type of cloaking thing where you can cloak your emotions or turn off your emotions like a Vulcan, so or lower your heart rate, so that way, because I don't know, apparently there's pheromones now that when you're lying that things can smell. All right. Doesn't make much sense, but all right. I would think that, usually that's lie detector tests. They do it off of your heartbeat. So why don't you just take something that, reduces your heart rate so people can't tell when you're lying? Apparently that's a thing, but science, that doesn't matter anymore in Star Trek. But, all right, we'll bend the rules for whatever. All right, I can, expand my believability for certain purposes. This is a little out there, but, all right, we're gonna do that. We gotta disguise ourselves to play a character, so that way we can go down and negotiate and get Bruce back. All right, so, then it shows them going down to the city on Free Cloud. Now we got the costumes, the ridiculous costumes that we saw in the preview for this episode. We got Rios. He's gonna be the negotiator, so he's gonna go down first as this, kind of weird over the top, and they explain why they have the most over-the-top costumes ever, because the people that they are playing are people that would want to stand out in a crowd. That is their explanation for it. All right, whatever. This is something that I thought was kind of dumb. So Eleanor is from the Romulan warrior nun House of Absolute Candor, which means no lying. Alright, so just because a person is from a place where they are not allowed to lie, doesn't mean that they are oblivious to the fact that other people put on charades, or, don't exactly tell truths, or sarcasm. Just because you're in the House of Magical Warrior Romulan nuns that only speak truths doesn't mean you're oblivious to everything else. He can go outside of the, little nun sanctuary and go interact with the world around him and see that people use sarcasm, see that people lie. You're telling me that he stayed in this box his entire life? Bull freaking shit. Even when he met Picard, he saw that Picard joked with him. He knows that sarcasm exists, or at least he should. It's shown earlier, even when they were, reading about the book about, the Three Musketeers. Obviously, that's not a real story. It's a make-believe story. He would know that. But apparently in this episode, he's an idiot who is unaware of sarcasm, is unaware of dressing up and playing a character. So he's never seen, a Hollow movie, which, they have. He's never seen any of that. He's never he's completely unaware of anything that's not absolute candor. Are you fucking kidding me? But that's supposed to be the comedic relief in this little scene. And so he goes down, and so the way that these scenes are shot, it keeps going back and forth. I think it's to make it look interesting. It honestly it gets a little confusing towards the end of this scene cutting sequence, and I will explain it from there. So he meets up with the alien lizard dude because he's playing this character, and then the way that they speak, it's like, all right, so you're not lying to me. And then we cut over back to Picard, and Picard's like, oh, I'm this Frenchman, and I'm the French villain, and I've got the over-the-top accent. And in this, so Raffi is running the show. Picard is not running the show. This show should not be called Picard. It should be called Raffi, because Raffi is the one that is, ever since she's been introduced, every scene that she's in, she is in charge. It's not Captain Jean-Luc Picard or Admiral Jean-Luc Picard. Everyone else runs the show. Picard is just a side character in his own TV show. If you go back and watch any episode of The Next Generation, you will see that when Captain Jean-Luc Picard comes into a scene, he commands the scene. Even when he is not the, main character in that episode, he still has this presence. That's something that I don't think would go away. And people use this, well, Anna, people change over age. I'm like, I have seen my grandparents since I was a child until now. The only time my grandfather started to change was when he got Alzheimer's. That is the only time. He was still the same person over the 20 plus years that I have known him. Didn't change until, he got sick. But alright, whatever. Moving on. So then we have this, I wanted to show this to show the whole entourage of how ridiculous everyone's dressed. He's not in this costume yet because guys, he dresses up. And so they're, kind of having this little powwow in Picard's ready room for what we're going to do. We're going to outsmart them. Seven's going to be the bait. They're going to pretend like they're going to hand over Seven. But actually the handcuffs, all she has to do is push them together and they come off. And then they're going to fight, or, they're going to try to manipulate the bad lady to give them back Maddox and make a deal, make a trade. Seven for Maddox, and that's what Rios is doing on the planet, talking to the lizard man. He's like, oh no, I'm not working with the Tal Shiar. I actually have a better offer from this other dude, which is we have the Borg, and we know that you guys want the Borg because you harvest the Borg, because guess what? These bad guys are the ones that were harvesting the Borg technology from Egypt. And then here again, another dumb little thing from Elnor, where he's like, we're supposed to be somebody else? We're supposed to be somebody else? I don't understand. Why are you guys telling untruths? And it's like, oh my god. Who wrote this? Do you not understand? Unless you're living in a bubble, in a box with absolutely no access to the outside world. I mean, monks obviously know, and nuns obviously know, that people live differently, and it's a lifestyle that you have to choose to do, to go be a monk or, a nun on a monastery, and that not everyone chooses to live their life according to those rules that those people chose to live by. Elnor would have had access to other people, as we've seen him freely walking around. He even called that dude that he cut his head off, oh, my friend, I don't want to kill you. It's like, he knows that people lie, that people tell untruths, but whatever, he doesn't understand the fact that they are playing characters. But story, right? Alright, so then we have all the characters being down to the planet. There you go. He's playing himself, but he's in normal clothing. Alright. Cool. And so then the characters go, they have a little powwow, Lizard Man next to Rios, he made the whole negotiating deal. We cut back to Elnor trying to be like, oh, I'm playing a character. And again, it's so dumb. I had to include it just because of how dumb it is. And everyone is just like, alright, Elnor, you're an idiot. And it's like, out of all of the people, I feel like the guy that has, he decided to follow this path in his life and to study the art of absolute candor, because that's not something that's going to come naturally to people. It's going to be something you have to study, that has that type of discipline in him to do that. I feel like this guy would be one of the most intelligent people in the room, but they have him be a complete clown and an idiot. And it's like, what the hell are you doing? You want us to respect these characters and these people, but you give them no qualities that earn my respect. Okay, he's the best fighter, but he doesn't know when to not kill someone. He doesn't know how to use this thing called a brain in his head. And we know Romulans are, all the ones that we've encountered before are actually very intelligent. So he is not able to use that intelligence to say, hey, Romulus blew up. We might not need to kill other Romulans, even if I don't agree with them. There is this thing called, prison, or, talking things out. But no, I'm just going to cut his head off. It's like, you give him these qualities where he's the best at all of this, but at the same time, he's a complete idiot. But you want us to respect him, but then you make him a clown, but then he's the one that everyone relies on to fight for them. It just doesn't make sense, and it's, this is an effect of bad writing. So we get back down to the planet. Picard's plane is that I'm the Frenchman and I got the Borg, and you need to cut out her little things because she was the one from a child, so they're embedded in her. You're going to have to cut her up into a million pieces and get the Borg. And it's like, Okay, this is just Patrick Stewart playing every character he can possibly play and be a prop on his own TV show, but whatever. So then they're having these little negotiations about getting Bruce Maddox for the Borg lady. And then we cut back, and this is when I say it gets kind of confusing, and I'm like, I don't know why they just didn't shoot this as its own thing, or before they went over there, but they needed to break up this one scene for whatever freaking reason. It doesn't make much sense, but whatever, let's go with it, because that's what they did. So, it cuts back to before they beam down to the planet, where Raffi is going on her own. She even said, she's like, I'm just catching a ride, and I'm not gonna go with you, I'm not gonna help you, I just needed a ride. So, she's going down to the planet, she's talking to Picard, she's like, all right, deuces, and he's like, bye. She's like, good luck to each other. All right, cool. We go over to this baby place. It's a baby place. It's where people have babies. She comes face to face with her son, who was the dude that she was Googling before. He's just like, fuck you, Mom. You abandoned me and Dad. You were obsessed with this shit, with these conspiracy theories, and I don't want to have anything to do with you. Go the fuck away. And then he's like, oh, then his wife comes out, and she's just like, oh, hello, nice to meet you. I'm your son's baby mama. And she's all sad because they're leaving. She doesn't get to see the baby, but she's just like, oh, good luck with you and your new baby girl. And I'm like, hey, I actually said this. I was like, hey, Romulans, what should they be doing? Rebuilding their society and having a shit ton of babies. Because guess what? You need to repopulate. If you don't want your species to go, to die, to go extinct, have fucking babies. All of you guys need to have like 6 kids. Go have 6 children, all of you. Have a shit ton of little baby Romulans. Teach them about their culture. And then help rebuild your society. And there you go. If maybe like 1 million Romulans made it. I mean, you can start having a shit ton of babies, repopulate the world, even if they're half Romulan. That still counts. Just go rebuild your damn population. So 1 Romulan has been doing it. Cool. And Raffi's all sad. Then we cut, because he was like, fuck you, she leaves. We cut back. Bruce Maddox is there. They're seeing Bruce because they want the Borg. Because we saw in the beginning of the episode that they want to harvest the Borg technology. For some reason, that is apparently the most valuable commodity in the damn galaxy, aside from everyone wanting to find an android. So Bruce is there. He's all sick, and he's like, ha ha ha, yes! Here you go, get 7. And then we find out that, hey, Bad Lady and 7 know each other. Because, hey, all of us knew it, but apparently she didn't want to share with anyone that she knew this bitch. And, even though they were planning to double cross her, 7 could have said, hey, I want my revenge too, or hey, this chick killed Egypt, and I kind of have like a debt to settle with her because she crossed me. Picard apparently now is the most understanding person on the face of the planet and wants to help everyone and be everyone's bestest friend. You could have told him, but apparently that was too difficult to work out a plan within your own plan so it doesn't fuck up the original plan. So she reveals that they know each other. They have this little confrontation. Oh, see, her little bodyguards that guys can't aim. But then it cuts back to Agnes is on the ship, and she's supposed to be the one that beams them all back from the planet. And she's having a panic attack because Rio's like, Agnes, you ready? Just in case. Shit might hit the fan, Agnes. It might hit the fucking fan. Are you going to be able to beam us up? And she's like having a panic attack. She's like, oh my god, guys, I can't press a button. I can't press a button. How am I supposed to do this? And then the EMH shows up. He's like, what's wrong? What's wrong? You're having a panic attack. What are you doing? And it's like, I can't push a button. I can't push a button. And then it cuts back from Agnes having her little panic attack to 7 having this little face off with the Bad Lady, and she's basically rubbing in her face about Egypt and all that good stuff. And then, they have a little back and forth when he's like, oh, the eye contact was intense in this scene, just saying. It's like, ooh, chick's about to fight. Somebody's getting their hair pulled. Them are fighting words. And guess what? Not disappointed. Well, yeah, it is disappointing, but still, it's predictable what happens. And Picard is just like, he's looking back at 7. He's kind of pissed that he's like, 7, you should have told me. And 7's just like, I'm gonna fucking kill you. And she's calling her Annika instead of 7, which was 7's name. But 7 is pissed off. Look at that face. And he's just like, he says something. I tried to get all of the little captions in here, but having it match up with getting a perfect screenshot is not the best thing to do. So don't try it at home. But he's basically like, 7, you can do this later. You're gonna, like, you're trying to regain your humanity, so don't kill somebody, because every time you kill someone, it makes you less and less human. And he talks her out of getting her revenge, which at this point, I'm like, why not just let her kill her? She's obviously a bad person. Picard has, like, a very questionable moral compass at this point, and I'm just like, what? Is it really that bad for her to kill the bad guy in this situation, or to, like, maim her in some way? I'm always just like, you know, you could just stun her. You could, like, shoot her in the kneecap so she's got to get a prosthetic leg or something. But I feel like at this point, like, you know, it's like, just, what else could freaking happen? But whatever. Then the bad lady brings back what happened with Egypt, and Seven is like, oh yeah, you killed him. I took him apart, but you killed him. And then Seven's like, I'm gonna fuck you up, bitch. I'm gonna fuck you up. And I'm like, go Seven, go Seven. You revenge Egypt. You get revenge, girl. I'm rooting for you, Seven. And Captain Picard's like, no, beam us back. And Rios is like, yeah, we don't need any bounties coming after us. And I'm like, well, who's the next in line? Are you really going to get... I'm pretty sure the next bad, you know, gangster boss person is probably going to be happy you took out that chick. But whatever. They beam back to the ship, and, you know, they get Bruce... They take him off to the little medical ward thing on the ship, and he's like, Aggie, to Agnes, and it's like, all right, well, we all know. Nobody else here knows, except for, you know, us, the audience, know that they have a little thing going on because of the little thing where we saw them kissing. So, that's going to be important later. They're going off into the darkness. Just warning, something bad's gonna happen. Then they have this little convo about humanity and what happened. And then she's like, all right, well, I'm not gonna stay here, Picard. I'm gonna leave. And he's like, well, you know what? After everything that, you know, you went through, I want to help you. And she's like, she hands him this little thing. She's like, if you ever need me. And I'm like, look, it's an advertisement for merch. If they ever make merch, look, apparently this is a little calling card thing. If you ever need to get a hold of someone, or Seven in particular, here you go. They're probably gonna sell this is probably going to be a keychain on t-shirts, jewelry maybe. Here's a big old advertisement for the merch that they're coming out with, and that's in such high demand, guys. Seven's calling card. All right. And Seven's like, I hope you don't mind. I'm going to take 2 of your phasers. And it's like, really? Like, Picard was just giving her shit on the planet, and now he's like, yeah, of course you can. It's like, you don't know what she's gonna fucking do with it. Even though she said that the Rangers are coming to pick her up, because she's one of the Rangers that was supposed to be protecting the Romulan planet in that quadrant, you know, in that little part of space, or excuse me, I should say sector, not quadrant. In that sector of space, they're coming to get her, they're gonna come pick her up, and it's like, alright, I wonder what she's gonna go do with these blasters, especially since they left the little transporter, like, intensifier emitter little button back on the planet. I wonder what she's gonna do with those 2 phasers. I wonder. And then again, she's like, do you ever have a problem feeling more human after you got assimilated for like a day? A day. Picard was assimilated for like maybe at most like 48 hours. Alright, so Seven was assimilated from the point when she was a child, and for decades was a Borg, and still has Borg implants in her, while as Picard doesn't. You're telling me you're really going to ask the man that was assimilated for like a day if he has trouble finding his humanity? And even he's like, no, I still feel completely human. I don't feel like Borg. And like, she wants to ask him for a little pep talk on, you know, finding their humanity. Seven, you haven't been a Borg for decades now. And, you know, we saw you find your humanity in Voyager. That was one of the greatest arcs we've seen. And that, you know, it kind of saved the show because Voyager wasn't doing so well. Then they brought Seven and it recreated interest in the show because she was such a good character. And people loved Seven. They loved seeing that being, you know, taken from the Borg, or, you know, taken as a child, becoming Borg, and then rescued from the Borg and trying to find your humanity and finding your own individuality after being part of the collective. That was great. Having a little free, have you found your humanity? From a dude that was a Borg for a day? Are you fucking kidding me? This is why I'm like, they didn't watch the damn show, or else they would know how stupid this sounds. And then he's like, yes, I did. Bye. She shows up, she's like, I'm about to fuck shit up. And we have the bad chick, and they have a little face off, they have a little talk, and she's like, I'm gonna kill you for what you did to Egypt. And she's like, oh really? And then Seven's like, yep, bitch, I'm gonna kill you. She's like, no, don't fucking kill me. What does Seven do? Fuck you. This is for Egypt. I'm giving my revenge. bam! This was cool. I was so glad I got this screenshot. It took me a while to get it, but oh my god, you can see her damn skeleton. I was like, you know, I know people were kind of grossed out by this, but I was like, I'm like, good for you, whoever went in and did the special effects for that. I was like, very clever and very sinister. I like it. But bam! It was actually pretty graphic for what we've seen in Star Trek before. But again, the people that made this they don't watch Star Trek, so they have no fucking idea that that's not what happens to you when you get blasted by a phaser, especially when it's a phaser that's set to kill, not stun. But whatever, that's just me from my experience actually watching the original shows. But yeah, whatever, that doesn't matter. So remember how I said that those bodyguards don't have any aim? They don't, because Seven shot them both at close range. They couldn't aim. They couldn't fire at her. They couldn't get her when she was right there. Two of them. Two. You know, not one, but two. Whatever. So the shitty bodyguards, because that, not to, this is probably gonna piss people off, but that's what happens when you have incompetent women as, you know, your bodyguards. Strong, empowered women, but apparently they don't know how to shoot or be actual bodyguards. Alright. Then everyone shows up, and Seven is a badass, and she just walks in, no armor whatsoever, fucking shit up, killing all of the people coming after her, and doesn't get a scratch on her. Alright. Then we cut over to the final scene, and we have Bruce, and he's there, and it's like, alright, the not Bruce look-alike Bruce, and he's there, and Picard's talking to him, and he's like, Bruce, and Bruce is all dying because he's dehydrated, he's been tortured, and apparently he wasn't valuable enough to keep alive, so they were basically just killing him for whatever reason, and were not feeding him or giving him water. So that makes a lot of sense, considering the bad guy, her name was Jay, the bad chick was trying to sell him, and you kind of need him alive to get paid for him. He's only valuable to the Tal Shiar alive, but whatever, he's dying. And so they have a little conversation. He's like, what happened with Dodge, or where's Soji, and why did you create them? And this whole time, this bitch is listening. She's listening to the entire conversation, and the second I saw this, I'm like, oh, bitch is bad. She's fucking evil. It's done. And guess what? But so the whole scene, she's being a weirdo creeper, just standing there. You know, it would have been fine for her to come over there and hear everything. Picard's not secretive at all. But for whatever reason, she doesn't. And so he's talking to him, you know, he's and he's just like, I created them to find the answers. Picard's like, what answers? What answers are you searching for? Why the synths are banned, and what happened on the Mars? And it's like, right, Soji is on the Borg cube. And Picard's like, well, Dodge is dead. And it's like, all right. And he's like, why did you send them there? To find the answers. It's like, why? Okay, so the answers were on Earth and on the Borg cube, apparently, as to what happened with the synths. And it's like, and this entire time, though, Picard doesn't mention, oh, hey, you know what? I know someone that knows about the conspiracy, that actually knows what happened. Presenting Exhibit A, Raffi. But does that information come up at all from a fucking former captain, now Admiral Jean-Luc Picard? Absolutely not, because the writers don't know how to fucking write. Bruce starts going, ah! And so he's got us, you know, to kind of have this little thing. I kind of went out of context, but this is basically what I was talking about. I totally forgot that I had all of these other screenshots, but this is basically the conversation. Then he does start having a little like breathing trouble, so Agnes comes over and is like, oh, okay, I gotta take care of him, go away. Last time I checked, Agnes was not a human medical doctor. She is a, you know, synth specialist. But apparently now she's a doctor. Even though they have an EMH that has popped up multiple times in this episode, they don't call the EMH, who is, you know, he knows how to take care of actual, you know, medical issues that are not synthetic life forms, that are actually organic life forms. You have an EMH for that, but he's not activated. Even though that's why they brought him to the medical ward. Wow, makes perfect sense, doesn't it? Alright. So then Picard leaves because Agnes told him to. He goes, he's talking to Rios, and Rios is like, are we going to talk about the stowaway? Meaning Raffi. Picard's like, yeah, I'll deal with that. Then we cut back over to guess what? Bruce. And he's like, Aggie, my love. And she's like, I'm so good to see you. And they're talking, and then she does this like, ah. And he's just like, what are you doing? After she's like, I'm so sorry. She starts pushing buttons. He's like, bitch, what the fuck you doing? And she's like, I'm gonna kill you. And then the EMH pops up. He's like, well, what's wrong? Your heart rate's going up. And she's just like, fuck you, EMH. And he's like, what the hell? This person's gonna die. What are you doing? And she's like, I'm gonna turn you off. Bruce is like, what the fuck are you doing? What are you killing me for? And she's like, fuck you, DMH, deactivate. And he's like, dying. And she's like, if only you knew what I knew, and you know I have to kill you. And I'm like, oh, so probably that one scene, back in the other episode with the Vulcan chick Vulcan, which I thought was Romulan because it's a Vulcan that shows emotion for whatever fucking reason. But the Vulcan lady, Commander O, showed up with the sunglasses on that made her little Vulcan ears stick out. Apparently, when they had that little scene in that conversation that never got shown, apparently they turned Agnes to the dark side. So she's willing to kill the man that she is in love with. For whatever reason, because she's like, if you only knew what I know, I wish they hadn't shown me or else I wouldn't kill you. I'm like, bitch, if you really fucking loved him, you wouldn't be killing him. You'd find a way out of it. You're telling me that if, somebody like Riker, for example, would have gotten told some information that, Deanna was involved in something, you think he would kill her? Hell to the fuck no. He would confront Deanna about the information that he found out, and then they would try to work past it and work around it so that way neither of them died. That's what you do when you actually are in love with someone. Unless you find out that the person that you're in love with is like secretly Hitler in disguise, I'm pretty sure you're not gonna kill them. But we don't know what the hell happened with Bruce. I'm assuming, from what I remember of Bruce, he was a bad guy. People can use the example, well, Anna, like, him and Data became friends later. I'm like, I don't care. When I saw him, he was a fucking asshole. And I don't think Data doesn't call just anyone his friend, but whatever. So she's killing him. She's crying, oh, I love it. He dies. And that's the end of the episode. Well, as ridiculous as that episode was, I hope you guys still enjoyed my breakdown. And if you did, please find it within your heart to do so. Go ahead and give this video a thumbs up. It'll help me and my channel out in the algorithm. Leave a comment, share your thoughts with me. If there's anything you want me to focus on more in my next review of episode 6, let me know what you thought of this episode. Let me know as well. And if you haven't already, if you're new to my channel, please hit that subscribe button and make sure that you click the little bell and make sure it's set to all, that we get all of my notifications, not only for my new videos that are coming out, but also when I do live streams. And yeah, so everyone, with that all being said, I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Hopefully better than Bruce and Egypt did. And until next time, everyone, may the Force be with you, because we are really, really, really going to need it. Bye, everyone. What's up, everyone? It's Anna, also known as That Star Wars Girl, and I have an Etsy store, so if you've ever wanted to own a print of my artwork, this is the place to go. As you can see, I have a lot of recognizable characters, from horror films to heroes to Star Wars characters. Some of the notable characters I have on here are Darth Vader, which I did a couple live streams painting, so you can own a print of this painting. I also have Luke Skywalker, the binary sunset version, one of my favorite scenes in the original New Hope movie. I have Darth Maul, which Ray Parks himself actually complimented me on Instagram. And then last but certainly not least, Ahsoka Tano. So if you want to own any of these prints, go right on over to my Etsy store. Again, that's The Art of Anna, That Star Wars Girl, or TSWG for short. Thank you, everyone, and have a great rest of your day. What's up, everyone? I have a P.O. box, so if you want to send me some mail, go ahead and send it to Anna, That Star Wars Girl, or TSWG for short, at P.O. Box number 28171, Santa Ana, California, 927998171. Have a great day, everyone. Thank you so much.